FlossTube. I'm Bonnie Claire, and this is my channel Stitched Lit. And this is an episode about cross stitch, only cross stitch. Well, and a little about my trip. I drove from North Carolina to California and back, but I'll tell you briefly at the end. I know that's not really what we all want to hear about, but it was kind of a big thing with 4 kids. 1 is a baby, so I will talk about that because that consumed my summer. And I'm trying to sit where I can actually you can actually see some stitching. I don't know, my setup is not ideal, but this is the best light that we have in the house. So I know I've probably talked about these two before because this is the room I always sit in, but I've got my dinosaurs, and this was the engraver's chart by Hello from Liz Matthews, which stitching it was a little tedious, but having it, I love it. It's like my favorite thing I've ever done. Anyway, let's see. Last time I did this, I was sick. I'm not sick now. Sounds like it. Wow, it's like my subconscious is a hypochondriac. I say sick and I cough. Allergies is always a problem, but it's, yeah, you can probably hear me a lot better, I hope, than the last one. And last time I also showed a finished parade of everything I've finished, but not fully finished, like into framing and whatnot. Sometime I'd love to show you. I have intentions of showing you things that I've fully finished since I have kind of redone my channel. Anyway, what I thought I'd do today, I had sort of set this arbitrary goal last year to finish 35 things by the time I'm 35. I turned 35 yesterday. And, well, let's see how I did. Spoiler, it's not 35. But last year I had finished something on September 1st, so I thought, like, I'm off to a great start. I can do this. No. I don't know. Having 4 kids has rocked my world. And anytime I have a baby, it's like, oh, yeah, you're very hands-on, which is great. I mean, I love them, but I just forget what I can do. So we'll start with that, and then I want to show a few whips I have, or like recent starts, and my main whip, which you've probably seen if you're on Instagram, and my last video. And then I'll tell you a little about my trip, and I did stop at 2 cross-stitch stores on my journey and picked up a few things, which I did put away, so I found what I could, but some of it's put away. Okay, that's everything to come. Now let's just do it. So first I'll show you how many finishes that I did in the past year, and I'll show them briefly because we did just do like a finish parade. So, but first I did, this is almost an FFO, fully finished object, because I got a frame. So this was the Grow, here we go, the Grow Whirligig from Heart and Hand. See, I just stuck it in to see if it's gonna fit. Yeah, but it's perfect. Isn't it the perfect fit? So in this little bee frame, I just thought that would be really sweet. And yeah, for guessing measurements, it really fits surprisingly well. So that was Heart and Hand. So that was one finish. Oh, the very first one is at my husband's office. It's a Wyoming thing from, dang it, Thread Milk. They designed those state things. I did a Wyoming one. That was my first one. So this is number 2. And then this isn't in order that I finished them because I'm not that organized. So for number 3, I can't remember if this was finished last time, but I finished it. I think I was just close. This is the Chessie and Me. I'll just set it right there. 1776 Harbor. And it came in a little kit. So it was using Gloriana silks, I think, on this, it's some linen that I think is hard to come by. Lakeside linen, that's a hard one, right, to find? Came with it. So, it's so pretty though, isn't it? It's so patriotic now that I'm ready for fall. I never have things like up in time, and I've been not very motivated to decorate this house because we're probably moving in whenever our lease is up, so I'm just like, ugh, why bother? Okay, This one, I don't think I have the paper over it anymore. This is the birth sampler for my son. So that was 3, right? 3, great, counting. I'll just show the part of it, top of it. Dolly, so I went to Dollywood for the first time this summer, so I think of Dolly now. But you get an idea. It's that one. I'll show you a picture. The birth sampler. So that's number 4. That was a big finish, so it should probably count as 4, right? Just kidding. We're not doing that. So yes, and I'll tell you more about traveling later. 4, yes. 5 is this one, this ornament, Santa Cruiser from Satsuma Street. That was number 5. Oh yeah, I was pregnant for part of this year. So that's part of also, like, I cannot stitch when I'm pregnant. I hate everything when I'm pregnant. Just very sick and unhappy. So yeah. Is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then these ones, these little Lizzie Kate, what were they called? Seasonal sampler, maybe? 6. That was winter. Spring. 7. Summer. 8. I think summer's my favorite. It's so cute. And 9. Autumn. 10. Ah, yes, I'm on the right numbers. Okay, 9. And then this one. I'm excited to put this up for Christmas this year. Hopefully I actually do. Number 10. This is Merry and Bright by Satsuma Street. And then 11, this was a recent one. I don't think I've shown this yet. So this, I got a bunch of plastic canvas magazines from someone. I don't know how much I'm going to do plastic canvas, but it's pretty easy to look at the charts and there's fibers flying everywhere, do like a cross stitch out of them. So I thought I'd do that with this one. And I just pulled colors I loved. I think they're mostly color and cotton. And put it on some sparkly fabric. So this will be a cute little ornament. That's the intention. And yeah, so it was from a random plastic canvas magazine, and I just kind of turned it into cross stitch. It says Merry Christmas, just in case you need help with reading that. It's not in the way we usually read. So, and then I am currently very sick of the like one whip I've been working on. I'm not meant to be a monogamous stitcher, but I was for a good chunk of the summer. Long story short, we're on a break, and I started and finished this probably like within 24 hours. I started it on August 30th and finished on August 31st, I think. The dates might be off by 1 or 2 because I barely know what day it is. It's September now. Happy September, everyone. Anyway, it's a little like wind-up tiger. I really wanted to do it on this green fabric, and then I have an oval gold frame I'm going to put it in. So that was my final. That's 12, nowhere near 35, not even half. But that's okay, because when I pulled out my oldest whip, I was like, I'm going to finish this. I just want to finish this. So I'll show it to you. We all know if you're new here, welcome. And you don't know, so I won't make assumptions. But if you've been around, you know I've been working on this. It is my oldest whip. I started when I was 11 or 12. I wish I started it in 1999, but I was 10. And I just want to say that it was a different millennium when I started this. So I don't think, or maybe I was even 9. I don't know. Birthdays. I don't think I started in 1999. We can just say this was started in the 90s, in the 1900s. So it is Precious Moments Noah's Ark. It is humongous. Started, when I was young. And I remember like occasionally working on it in high school. I was really busy in high school. I lived about an hour and a half from my school. So had to do that commute every day. It was an international school with military. We lived on a military base, so that kind of situation. And then I was in sports, so I was gone many weekends playing sports. Loved it, but I didn't have a lot of stitching time, so barely did that. And then in college I didn't really either. So there were huge chunks of time where I didn't work on this. And then picked it up here and there when I got back into stitching when my oldest son was born. But then I discovered all the cuter things. I mean, not cuter, I shouldn't say cuter, but it's not my style now, definitely. So things more my style. Because it's cute. I mean, they have cute little eyes. Yeah, it's very 90s cute. So I've got to finish that water. That water is so tedious. So tedious. I'm close. And then there's a little bit of back stitching still to do. Well, kind of a lot. Kind of. Yeah, you can't tell from looking at this far. There's still kind of a lot to do. So I thought, like, maybe I could finish by August, but I really was running out of steam. And then I thought, I want to enjoy stitching. So that's when I pulled out this tiger and this other thing that I started yesterday. So that's where I'm at on my oldest WIP. I will finish it. I think my new goal will be by the end of this year. Hopefully sooner. I really want to be done with it. And I'd love to have a WIP. My oldest WIP would probably be something from the last 10 years by then. Like, once I finish this one. So, you know, it feels a little more current. There's that one. That was, I took that in the car on our road trip, and that was the only thing I stitched on. So you can kind of understand why I'm sick of it, maybe. That is all I've been looking at for several months. Okay, so let's go into some of the other random WIPs I've had when I've just needed something else. Okay, they're here on my lap. And I'll show, oh, that's dusty. Whoops. So this was a bag I got from Petals and Pins. It's a Charlie Harper. It's kind of stuffed right now because I put something in it that really probably doesn't fit. So my other beloved WIP that I would rather be stitching, I say it's beloved and it's jammed in there. It's this one, The Village of Hawkrun Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. Okay, you're in my face. This one. Ah! Everything's gonna fall. Sorry, I just sounded like a chicken, I think. Village of Hawkrun Hollow, Carriage House Samplings. I have done this block, and I'm almost done with this block. Almost as relative, you know, to whoever's actually doing the stitching. So I'll show you it. I have definitely been personalizing and intend to, probably with all the Hawkrun Hollow stuff. This is the right fabric, right? I've got a really big piece right now that I haven't cut down. So here we are. We have, I'm gonna drop everything because I've just set it in my lap. We have that block. And then this one, I have to finish the house. That's about it. The house, the blacksmith shop, whatever you call it. So I changed it to Forest Hunter, my grandfather. And he had horses. My mom had a horse growing up, and so I've made some of these female riders, and everybody has a different skin tone. I just want the variety there. So I have two ponytails on the ladies. I didn't have to change them much. You just do that, and then two male. And the horse, I changed the color to match my grandpa's horse, Blue. That's the only horse I really remember riding was Blue. That was the one we were allowed to ride because Blue was just very tame and gentle and sweet. So that's that one. I think I was probably like 10 or 11. My grandpa had cancer and passed away. And I think of him all the time. He was just such a fun, playful guy. And would have, I think there would have been a really great relationship there between my kids and him. So, anyway, I obviously am thinking of him a lot while stitching that too. So that's why I really like personalizing it a little. It really does kind of make me like think about this person who I just love. So there's that one for the Popcorn Hollow. I'm really excited to get back to that. It's kind of been stalling because of that dang Noah's Ark. Yeah, feelings are great. And then another whip. Excuse me. I'll show you. Is one that I picked up at Colorado Cross Stitcher. That was one of the cross stitch stores I stopped at on our journey. I'm trying to find the cover photo. This is a big project. Very big and a big undertaking because it's got specialty stitches and things that just require a little more effort. Oh my gosh, where is it? Don't mind me. Oh, I think well, never mind. Don't mind my brain. Okay, I'm just gonna have to take all these papers out and find it. It's a lot of papers. It's called Marie, I want to say Honorat, probably not pronouncing the T, Honorat. 1820, 10 years old. French, so, you know, people who know French probably would pronounce that better. It's a GGR, so it's this one. Here, that's the title. It's very large. I just was looking at it and I loved so many details and I was like, this just looks fun. So it bewitched me at the store and it had to come home. I really like, I don't know what all the symbols are. I'll read about it sometime because there is a paper. And I thought I heard somewhere like the chairs might symbolize number of people in their family, maybe. I don't know, but I just really like it. And so I got it and I had almost all the, I think I'm converting it to NPIs actually because I had almost all the colors. And I wanted it to be fancy. So I had to figure that out and I'm pretty sure I have them all now. And then this fabric, what is this called? Ah, here's a tag. It's on Scriptorium by Legacy. So let's find my start, shall we? It's on a fat half, which I don't think it needs the whole thing, but maybe. Here's my start. Oh, there's a needle in there. Good to know. So already, I mean, those are pretty much just back stitches. A little longer than the block, so that's my start in the little corner. But already I just am like, this is gonna be pretty. So I'm excited about it. It is Sampler September now, so I might have to revisit that one. And then also there was, I know in one of my past videos, it was like the GH 1840. I don't know. That sampler, it's like mostly blues, navy blues. I love it. It's so pretty. That one is one I want to probably do in September too. Okay, and then my other whip that I just started yesterday is from this book. So this is the book the tiger came from. It's called Cross Stitch in Wonderland. The rest is in Japanese, but you can follow a chart. I don't speak Japanese, like not even close. So here's some of this is the artwork that was then converted into cross stitch, and it's so quirky. It's like vintage, whimsical, quirky art. So this is the one I'm doing now. And then where's the tiger? Well, I'll just show you the pictures briefly. I want to do them all, really. I just love them so much. Okay, so this was part of the group thing, but I just did the tiger and I didn't stitch the frame because of how I want to frame it. So there's that one. And there's these. And there's these. I love them. I'm really excited. I love this one with her dress. I love the little witch. Just, I don't know. It just is speaking to me right now. So, I have this fabric. I get the fabric of the month from Extra Designs. It's the only club I'm in. I don't ever want to stop. You can't read it. Okay, whatever. It's called Coral Reef. And it looks like this. And last night I started, so it's the one, the girl with the parade of cats. So I started her head, and I usually don't outline right away, but I wanted to make sure it would show up on the fabric because the peach of her skin was very close to the fabric, and it does. It looks great. So there's her little head floating. Yeah, so I'll probably work on that today, and we'll get back around. We'll circle back to Mr. Noah and his arc sometime. But I can't right now. I need to enjoy my stitching. It needs to be enjoyable time. So, yeah. Okay. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to record. I don't think I have a lot of storage on my phone right now. So we'll do this quick. So the last will be some of my purchases recently. I don't have a lot, but we did try to stop at some cross-stitch stores on the trip. Since I pretty much planned the whole thing, I was like, I'm gonna throw in a few detours here for myself. So I stopped at Colorado Cross Stitch, sure, and Quilter Station has some cross-stitch stuff too. So those were my two places. So the sampler Marie Honorat, that one was from Colorado Cross Stitcher, and I got one other thing there, but I couldn't find it. So yeah, and then these things were from Union Station. Union Station's the town. Quilter Station in Union Station. So I got this one. I really like sunflowers. Tulips and sunflowers are probably my favorite flowers. So this is Blackbird Design Sunflower House that I got there. And then I was loving that Chessie and Me that I just did. So this one, oops, it's not a kit, it's just a chart, but it's, well, it's so very shiny. Return of the Whales, Chessie and Me. And then this one, Bony Bunch from Plum Street. I don't want to take it out. So I love the bony cat. And that was it from the store. And then something I got, it was on pre-order while I was gone, and it arrived when we got back, was this one. I love this book. So we visited quite a few, like 3 or 4 national parks, and so that was just on my mind. Like I really wanted to stitch something, and these aren't national parks per se, but it definitely reminds me of some of the scenery. Like we saw redwoods. We went to, well, let me just tell you about my trip. This was the last thing I got recently. I got one of the bags from Stitch Bulk. This is my first, and this one I really liked because it really kind of fits my personality. Unfortunately, I'm a bit of a moody lady, especially lately. Hormones, you know, they're fun. So this is me. Let me briefly tell you about my trip, and then we'll be done, because that's all the cross stitch. The plans are to eventually do Noah's Ark, and in the meantime, whatever I want. Those are my plans. Okay, my trip. We started in North Carolina, and we just would do like 3 to 5 hour stretches and stop and do something, and then go to where we were gonna sleep that night. So I tried to break it up so that we didn't have super long stretches in the car, but that was really hard in Nebraska. which I like Nebraska way better than Northern Nevada is the worst place to drive. Northern Nevada, I'm sorry. But goodness, that was a rough days on the way there and back. So, our first main stop, and sometimes we camped, and I have to thank the camping stitcher. I had asked her for some tips before, of just like camping with young kids. Sometimes we camped, sometimes we did an Airbnb, and it was good doing it that way, I think. But like, let's see, we went to Mammoth Cave, so that was one of the national parks. It was a hot day, but it was really nice in the cave. The only thing is the baby cried a lot, and it was very echoey, so we tried to stay in the back of our group. Felt so bad. But we tried our best, you know, to keep him quiet. And then we stopped in St. Louis, and we actually spent an extra day there. So we did the arch thing, and the highlight for my kids was the City Museum. That is the coolest children's museum I have ever seen. So if you have children and you're near or you go through there, I highly recommend it. It's not really the kind where you can follow your kid around very well because there are little nooks and crannies everywhere. So it was perfect for my older kids because they could kind of just run off, and I was like, just come check in with me every 30 minutes. And I was just like sat by the front door just to have an eye so no one was escaping. No, they're responsible and old enough. And then we would kind of take turns following my younger son around. And the baby was sleeping, so whoever was stationed by the door was holding a sleeping baby. It worked out well. Anyway, you probably don't need that much detail, but that's how you do it with 4 kids. And one of them was 3 and one's a baby. And so we love that museum. And then there's a brand new children's museum in Kansas City that is called the Rabbit Hole. And it is, the exhibits are based on children's books. So that, is some of my children's book collection. Right up my alley. I loved it, and my 3-year-old loved it. I think all the kids loved it, but it was really magical for my 3-year-old. So I love books, but especially children's books. So that's a really cool one, and they're still working on exhibits now, so that's one that's worth a visit if you like children's literature or if you have young children. And then I'm kind of skipping over, there are little places in between, but some of our highlights of our trip. We loved camping in Omaha, randomly. It was great weather, and the KOA, is that how you say it, or do you say KOA? I don't actually know, but I really liked that one. That's how we did camping. We needed it a little to kind of ease us into the camping world, having sites like that. And let's see, we went to Colorado, cross-stitcher. Now there was like one of those mountain railroad things you could ride the trains on in Colorado. I can't remember the town we were in when we did that. I feel lucky because a lot of places have fires now, so we kind of got that in before the fires. And then we went to Utah Arches National Park. It was very hot, so we didn't do as much as we thought we might with the baby. It was mostly just, we had to keep him cool, so that was the biggest challenge. And then we eventually went to Northern California. My mom grew up in this tiny town. Her town, so it was like, it's foresty, Northern California, like almost Oregon, California. So it was like in the forest, in a very small town. Her town, it was just a street of houses, basically was her town. So, yeah, really cool. So we still have family that live in her house that she grew up in. So for the first time ever, I got to see where she grew up, and it was so cool. And then there was like a railroad park nearby where we all stayed. It was a family reunion. And so it was like converted caboose cars that we slept in, and my 3-year-old is obsessed with trains, so it was heaven for him. And we had a great time. So that was like the highlight. And I guess before we did that, we made it all the way to the coast. We wanted to make it all the way to the coast. So we pretty much drove across the whole country. And we stayed in Whitethorn, California, in Shelters Cove. Right? That's what it's called. Really kind of treacherous getting there because it's one of those like down the mountain, up the mountain, you're on the edge of a cliff drives. But loved that place. It was very peaceful, really cool. So we did that and then also went to Humboldt State Park and saw redwoods. So that was, I mean, that's amazing to be able to see the redwoods. So if you get that opportunity, I highly recommend it. So yeah, California was a huge highlight. And on the way back, we did want to go to the Lassen Volcanic National Park, and we couldn't because of the forest fire. I think it was called the Park Fire, which, yeah, it was really close to actually where we were. So it was on everybody's minds. It felt like everywhere in the West was on fire this summer. So, yeah. And then on the way back, I'm trying to think. It's kind of a blur. I'm not going to lie. The highlights of what we did. Oh, we went to Springfield, Illinois. I couldn't think of the town. So did some of the historical Abraham Lincoln sites and stuff, which was good for my kids to be able to see that and learn a little more about that because we do live in the South, and so I feel like that's a big part of the history here, and I want them to understand what has happened. So yeah, I think that was kind of the main one. I know I'm forgetting because there was a whole drive back. We did Indianapolis Children's Museum. That was fun. We were kind of just like tired and ready to be home. So yeah. No, I know we stopped other places. I just can't. It's out of my brain right now. So yeah, that was the way back. And then we got here and we have a tradition in our family where I'll do a somewhat local trip with my child when they turn 8. So I took one son to Williamsburg, Virginia, and because he was super into history, so that was his 8-year-old trip. And then this year, my son's almost 9, but I was pregnant. He really wanted to go to an amusement park, and so one of the closest is Dollywood. So I took him to Dollywood, and it was really fun. And we get there, and he's like, I don't really like roller coasters. So if you've ever been to Dollywood, there's a lot of roller coasters. So there wasn't much. We ended up doing a river raft ride like 5 times. But it was still really fun. I mean, the point is to have this one-on-one time with them as, you know, they kind of are switching from the stage of being like little mama's boys and growing up into their own people. So that's a tradition I really like. And on the way back, I stopped at Sassy Jack Stitchery and got some fabric. So one of them was the scriptorium that I used for that sampler I started. Anyway, that was our summer. So we took almost a month. We did that whole trip in almost a month. So there were times we stopped and stayed longer. So anyway, if you have any questions about camping and traveling with little ones, it went 1,000 times better than I expected. I guess I set myself, my standards were low for that. Anyway, I don't know when I'll do this again. My kids are finally in school. My preschool starts this week, so we'll be off sometime. So maybe I'll be able to do it more often. We'll see though how much I have to show. If I finish Noah's Ark, that'll take a while and I won't have lots of other things. Anyway, blah. I'm just rambling now. Thank you for watching, and please comment. I have been good and bad sometimes about replying, but I intend to be better now that my brain's a little less like frazzled. So anyway, I hope you're all just as happy as I am that school started, if you have children, school-age children, because summer can be hard. Anyway, have a great day. Bye.